Alright guys, welcome back. Now, I've got your favourite topic, monkey branching. However, today I want to talk about the link between narcissism and monkey branching. Is it true that a narcissist will cheat on you, betray you? Let's find out. Got a very good email from a subscriber, and unlike something I've ever done before, this time it is a female subscriber. Guys, I want you to pay close attention to this video, because as I go through her story, you're going to see how the man she was with, narcissistic, manipulative, he treated her quite badly, but she was a very good woman to him. Because one thing I see a lot with men who have been hurt, who have suffered trauma in a relationship, they project their pain onto everyone and say that all women are the same. And that's incorrect. There are good women, there are bad women. And I want you guys to see how this very good woman got involved with the wrong man because she didn't pay close attention to the red flags. Okay, so with that said, let's get right into it. So she gave me permission to use a name. Her name's Danny, all the way from America, from the States, USA. And let's get into her email. So she writes in and says on the title, Monkey Branching, Narcissism. After 4 years, left me for someone else. I'm still struggling. Hi Christian, I've been watching your content for about a year now. It's really great stuff. Everything you say makes complete sense and is almost comforting. You call it like it is and are super knowledgeable. I appreciate that. I've been going through a situation that resonates with your content and was wondering what your thoughts and advice would be for me. So obviously I've already gone through an email, I've already helped her out, but now I'm sharing it with you guys. A little background. This guy was 4 years older than me. I thought more mature, and from the beginning, things I thought were wonderful, and I took my time with him. My dad at the time had stage 4 cancer, so I wasn't messing around and bringing someone new into my life. I was 28 and he was 32, so I wasn't dating for fun, as he understood, and I thought we were on the same page as me with wanting kids and a family one day. So she's 28, meets this guy 32, and that's typically how it goes, right? Women are attracted to men that are a few years older than them because they tend to see that man as more mature. He's kind of, developed enough self-control. He's going to be more confident. He's going to have his life together, right? Therefore, he's going to be more masculine. Women are attracted to that, right? And obviously, us men, we tend to go for women that are a few years younger, okay? More youthful, more feminine, more beautiful. It is what it is. So she meets this guy and, right, as you said, at the beginning, she thought everything was wonderful. Obviously, in the other areas of her life, unfortunately, her father had stage 4 cancer. And, she's getting to that age where, women getting into their 30s, the eggs start drying up. That's when you see most single girls around that age gap rushing to lock down a man because they know there's only a time frame when you get to that age where you can have children if you're a woman, right? Biological clock starts ticking. So she thinks, all right, is he on the same page with me, wanting kids and a family? So that's basic background, right? She's with this guy, he's 4 years older than her, everything seems okay. Things were great. I even bought a house a year into our relationship and moved in right away. We made it our home, so I thought. So that's the first mistake I'm seeing. 1 year into the relationship, she already bought a house. So obviously she's worked very hard, she's successful, she's able to take care of herself. So she buys a house and wants to make it their home. Now, what is something I've always said? When you first start dating someone, you don't know who they are, right? People can hide behind their looks, their success, fake persona, their social status, and they can really mask their insecurities, especially a narcissist, as you guys are going to see. They can really lead a double life. And I see a lot of men do this as well, where you rush into a relationship. You're so happy to have someone. you feel like you need to lock them down, when you need to take it slow and look at the relationship from a logical standpoint. Okay, because unfortunately as human beings, we make decisions based on emotions and we justify them with logic and reason. But you want to separate your emotions and look at it for what it is. Study their behavior pattern. Because in 1 year of dating someone, you don't know what they're like on a bad day. You don't know what they're like when they lose a loved one, when they're having a bad day at work, when they have an accident, when they fall ill, when you guys have really bad fights and arguments. You don't know what addictions they have, or what problems, or what childhood trauma they've been through. You don't know if they have, recovered from any negative things that have happened, or if they're still carrying emotional baggage. You don't know who they are. It takes many years to find out who somebody truly is. Therefore, in 1 year of a relationship, you're already moving in with this guy. That was Danny's first mistake. So let's carry on. Some red flags did start to show up a year into the relationship. But I suppose that, given 28, 29, made a home with this guy, and my father was slowly approaching hospice, I kept giving him more chances. So now, because she's getting older, she's kind of almost settling for him. Well, I gotta rush, I gotta lock down a man, I want kids, I want a family, I'm on a timer. So she's trying to push things forward a little too soon. And obviously, unfortunately, her father is, has got cancer. So she's got that on her plate as well. It started off small, with him talking and venting awful things about me to his friends and other girls. The sex started to dwindle, and he talked to other exes, but they were friends. And a year after my dad passed away, I caught him sexting with another female at work. He even invited her up to his hotel room. I would always ask him to communicate more with me and be open as to what was going on. But all he said was, I am screwed up, I am unhappy, and I don't know why. Boy, is he telling you the red flags right to your face. Truth in plain sight. This time, I saw the naked pics, and him basically cheating on me was horrible. Long story short, he moved out for a month and then moved back in with boundaries in place. We worked so hard on moving past this, he even went to therapy. Things were great again, or so I thought. So I'm going to stop it right there and break this down. So in 1 year, she moves in with this guy, right? And what starts to happen? He starts emotionally cheating. He starts venting private information to other females. He starts talking to exes from his past who were just friends. And then a year after her father passed away, instead of being there and supporting his girlfriend through her grieving process and being a good man, what does he do? He goes out and brings up a female he was sexting at work, up to the hotel room. Physical cheating. So this guy has low character, low integrity. You see, a narcissist, fundamentally, they lack empathy. They have the inability to care for other people the way you and I would. They see people as an extension of themselves. Okay? They feel like they can walk in and walk out of people's lives like it's an open buffet. Whereas when we spend time around somebody, we bond with them. It's not easy for us to break away from someone, okay? Because we actually develop a deep-rooted emotional connection based on love, trust, intimacy, okay, shared interest, values. That's what healthy human beings do. But narcissists lack empathy. Therefore, instead of just dumping you and healing, they know that, look, what they're doing is wrong. But because they only care about their own feelings, they do not care if it hurts you when they line up a replacement. This is why people that have high integrity, okay, they have high character, they have a high self-esteem, they have self-worth and empathy, will never cheat on you, no matter how unhappy or miserable they are in a relationship, because they know, look, if I dump you, it's going to hurt you. But if I cheat on you, it's going to hurt you even more. And that's selfish. That's wrong of me. Therefore, a good man or a good woman just won't do that to you. Okay? Somebody who lacks empathy, sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, those are typically going to be the type of people that murder, rape, do inhumane things like betrayal. It is what it is. So obviously, look at all these red flags, guys. This guy fundamentally lacks empathy towards Danny. Okay? And obviously this is really going to hurt her. But then on top of that, he's honest enough, quote unquote, honest, to tell her, I am screwed up. I am unhappy and I don't know why. When somebody tells you who they are, when somebody shows you who they are, believe him. Okay? He's just told her that he's screwed up and he's shown it through his actions. That's something you don't want to ignore. So he moved out, moved back in. She kind of tried to forgive him, right? He even went to therapy. And let's see what else happened. A few months went by and I felt off. And sex was dwindling once again. He would get mad when I brought up marriage. To him, the talk was off the table. Yeah, because he wanted to go out with other women, and he's not going to commit to someone that he's going to, keep cheating on when he knows that would involve paperwork and all the rest. This opened Pandora's box with insecurities and fights. I felt like something was going on again, and no communication on his end. He just said he was unhappy but couldn't tell me why. Again, he's not communicating properly, he's not clear, he's not direct, okay? He's avoiding things, right? One night, I asked to go through his phone, and he went crazy. He said if I needed to go through his phone, he was done with me. And after an hour of fighting, I was only allowed to go through his texts and IG messages. I didn't see anything alarming, but he did go to the bathroom with his phone for a while before I was allowed to go through specific media. It's obvious, isn't it? After the fight, he said our relationship was toxic. He's projecting. And he couldn't be with me anymore because I didn't trust him. Well, you have a reason not to trust him because you caught him sexting with a female from work. You found out about him venting and basically emotionally cheating on you by communicating with his exes, so on and so forth. So yeah, you have a reason not to trust him. So especially since you got back into a relationship with this guy, you have every right to tell him, you need to show me through your words and through your actions that you are consistent and honest. Even though I teach you guys, you never get back with a cheater. Unfortunately, she did know that, right? She got back with that guy back then. And what happened? Here he goes, hiding his phone. And when she asked, well, show it. Somebody who's honest, somebody who's got nothing to hide, they have no problem saying, yeah, sure, here's my phone. She didn't go through without his permission. She asked to see it, right? Because naturally, if you have been... This is why, guys, when you have been betrayed by someone that you love, you're never going to trust them again fully. I don't care how much you try and mend it, couples therapy and all this crap. Cool. You're not going to trust them again. You can be the most forgiving Christian in the world. You can forgive him, but you ain't going to trust him. And that's really what's going on with Danny. She can't trust this guy again. She doesn't feel safe and comfortable, which is necessary in order for a relationship to work. So she's basically looking for comfort and validation to say, hey, can you prove to me that you're being faithful to me? And if he really cared about her, he would have said, of course, I'll show you my phone. Because if he really felt remorseful for cheating, his actions would show a change in his behavior. He would be making an effort to prove that he is loyal, because he knows that in the past he wasn't. Maybe 1% of cheaters change, but in this case, he ain't changing. Because he goes to the bathroom for an hour to delete media and other contact info, whatever girls he was talking to, and then saying, okay, now you can go through the phone. And then he's accusing her of being toxic when she's asking for something normal, given the fact that he's the cheater. Let's carry on then. So she said, I didn't trust him. This was 6 months after he was speaking to another female for a month. I was working on trust every day to move past that. I really thought I was doing a great job until he stopped sleeping with me again. It was wild. I felt so awful and like I ruined everything because I wanted to go through his phone. You didn't ruin anything. Okay, it is perfectly normal for you to want to go through his phone, and you didn't do it sneakily behind his back. You asked him, okay, because he was doing things and he should prove to you through his behavior that he was untrustworthy, unfaithful, dishonest. If he really valued you and he changed, he would have said, sure, I want to make you feel comfortable. I want you to feel safe. I want you to know that you can trust me. He'd be doing anything in his power to prove that to you. That's the thing, guys. Was a cheater? Was a cheater? What did he do? He runs off to the bathroom. He hid for an hour, deleting all his stuff. Yeah, now you can go through my phone. And then he projects it onto her and does what narcissists do, right? Blame shifting, because he can't take accountability. He doesn't want to get caught, so he says, you're toxic. He accuses her of being the one in the wrong when she's asking something normal, because she was emotionally abused and betrayed by this guy, and she's asking for something normal. But can I please see that you're being loyal to me? But he didn't want to prove that, did he? Because if he hadn't have gone to the bathroom and given you the phone, you would have found out the new girls that he was talking to. So he had to basically cover his tracks. She said, I found myself apologizing and even offered myself to go to therapy because I felt insecure, but he still wasn't sleeping with me again. Well, you shouldn't have bent yourself into a pretzel to please this guy, because not only did he not love or respect you, he's putting the blame on you when you did nothing wrong. So you only apologize for something when it's your mistake, or you say or do something out of anger to hurt your partner. But in this case, you did nothing to hurt this guy, okay? He got offended and angry because you tried to look for truth. You were looking for answers. You were looking for his love. And he didn't want to give that. So instead, he becomes angry and says it's your fault. Not a good man. At that point, he basically told me the relationship was over and he didn't want to be with me anymore. He basically took anything bad I did and threw it in my face. Maybe like ammunition to leave. There you go. See, deep down you know. I felt horrible and thought I was really the problem. I kept trying to make it right. No more asking about his phone. Well, see, when you are somebody that's very giving, you're going to keep trying. But a taker, they're just going to take. They have no limits. Which is why when you are somebody caring, when you have empathy for those around you, especially when you're in a relationship, you got to look at the other person's actions. What type of effort are they making? Because you're going to keep giving, but you need to put a limit on how much you give. Because it's a two-way street. It takes two to tango. Okay? Relationship takes two people. And if you're with somebody that lacks integrity, they're not honest, they cheated on you multiple times, it's time to go. It's time to find somebody that will treat you right. Because what this guy's doing is, he's creating problems out of thin air. He's making her look like she's the bad guy, when she's just looking for his love, his attention, his respect. She's looking to try and rebuild the romance, and he's not making no effort. Right? As she said here, he's taken everything bad I did and threw it in my face, like ammunition to leave. Yeah, because he has no valid reason to leave. other than the fact that he's just an unhappy, miserable guy, and he can never appreciate the good things that you do for him. Okay? What do I always say to you guys? A bad woman, a woman that's not good for you, she'll never appreciate you. She can never appreciate a good man in her life. And it's the same thing for a woman. A man that is emotionally damaged, narcissistic, has problems of his own in his life. He's unhappy, he's weak, he's insecure. Nothing you do is going to make that guy appreciate all the love, respect and care you give him. Because he's got his own issues. He can't emotionally connect with you. That's reality. So she keeps trying to make it right, to no avail. Right after this fight, I found that he told his co-worker, another female, what a coincidence, right? That he basically couldn't stand me anymore. He found me unattractive and he applied for his own mortgage and got a storage unit behind my back. So he's planning his exit strategy, right? He even moved a mattress we bought together into it without me knowing. I was devastated. He deleted every pic we ever had on all media for 4 years. The day after he moved out. Yeah, because he basically stayed until he had emotionally checked out, because he was never emotionally there. He was with you to get some type of security from you. Okay? And then when he found that you're catching on to who he really was, he's got to go. Because narcissists wear that mask with everyone, right? They're not vulnerable, they're not honest people. Okay, they don't live with integrity like us normal human beings do. I questioned if he was seeing someone else and he would get defensive saying, "Here you go again, this is why I can't be with you," and it was none of my business. I felt so stupid. So again, he is making her feel bad for asking a rational question. You know, if you've been with someone for 4 years and they all of a sudden just disappear, want to dump you and leave, it's normal to ask these questions. Out of respect, that's the very least you can do, is be honest, right? But narcissists get mad at you when you ask basic questions. Even if you get mad at them, rightly so, they're going to get mad at you for the fact that you're mad at them, because they don't sit there and try and understand you. They can't understand why you're upset, why you're angry with them, why you were hurt with them. Because they can't process other people's emotions. Only their own. They only care about themselves. They're selfish, they're self-centered. So when a narcissist sees you waning from any range of emotion, you're happy, you're upset, you're mad, you're angry, they're like, "Oh, how dare you? I'm the only one who has emotions. You're just an object to serve me." That is their mindset. It's sick. I know. I felt totally lost because a month before, everything seemed to be okay. A few fights here and there, but I promise you, I treated him like a prince, and even took him back after sending naked pics of himself to another woman a year before we ended. But I was the bad guy at the end. No. After we ended it for good, completely distraught, confused, I couldn't sleep, eat, focus. My whole world was flipped. I truthfully thought we were going to get married and have children. Well, from the very beginning, the very first time this guy cheated on you, that was the sign to walk away. And just because you were getting to that age where, you know, your fertility starting to coming down, your biological clock starts ticking, that doesn't mean you rush into a marriage, you rush into a relationship, you rush to move in with the guy, to lock him down. You still have to take it slow, because you don't know who he is. A lot of times, both men and women are guilty of this. We tend to project our fantasy of who we want the person to be, instead of accepting who they actually are. And that's why it's so important to enter a relationship and start dating someone with the mindset of, are they a good match for me? Do we have chemistry? Are we compatible? Those are the things you want to look for, guys and girls. Well, it turns out 2 weeks after the breakup, while I could barely breathe, he brought his new girlfriend home to meet his parents. A month later, they moved into an apartment together and got a dog. She said, a dog. Again, I'm assuming he was seeing her behind my back for a bit, considering the no sex, distance and fights. Bingo. Monkey punch. He basically met someone else and left me. This girl is 8 years younger than him. She was also supposed to get married a month after she moved in with my ex. I'm also thinking her ended engagement was because my ex and her had a side thing secretly. Man, Danny's become a detective now. She knows exactly what's going on. It's pretty insane. This new girl who was engaged is completely opposite than me. And hey, I do not mean to be mean, but this girl is honestly unattractive. Not tooting my own horn, but this is a complete downgrade looks-wise. I'm still baffled by this whole thing. It's been a year. They still live together and have this dog. Well, isn't it funny how like attracts like? You see, this narcissist, her ex, he doesn't have integrity, right? We know he doesn't have empathy. What does he do? Who does he go for? Somebody who's just like him. Two peas in a pod. So the girl he's with, she's engaged to some other guy for God knows how many years, drops his ass and runs off with this guy. What a coinkydink that is, huh? 8 years younger. Well, men in their 30s and 40s, if they are always going to tend to go for a woman that's younger than them. More fertile, more beautiful, younger, hotter. That's just the way it is. Okay? If she's younger, there's a high chance she can have produced more children than a woman that's older. That's a fact of life. But aside from that, that relationship is not going to last because they're both cheaters. They're both not even going to trust each other. He's messed up and so is she. So that's like a tornado and a tsunami just clashing. That's not good. Not good at all. Let's carry on. I'm just still really hurt, and to be honest, sometimes still in shock. Absolutely, you suffered extreme emotional trauma in that relationship. We went through so much together in 4 years, really good and really bad. But that is what makes a relationship, or so I thought. Well, when somebody cheats on you, there's no more relationship. When somebody emotionally abuses you, there ain't no more relationship. You can have ups and downs, couples have fights, small disagreements. That's alright. But somebody who's going to betray you, they're going to betray you. They'll betray anyone. They'll betray their friends, they'll betray their family. That dog he bought with that new girl, betray the dog as well. Most people are unable to form healthy bonds with anyone in their life. That's why they don't last a long time. Once you figure out who they are, they leave because you've exposed who they are. And they do not know how to be vulnerable. They do not know how to be real with people because their character, their persona, it's all fake. It's sad, but this is what happens with people that suffer from childhood trauma and they don't heal from it. You see, your empathy and your love and care for others comes from when you're a child, in your first few years of development. When you are fortunate enough to come from a family with good parents, a strong father, okay, and a feminine mother, and they raise you well, you develop an emotional stability, emotional intelligence. Okay, you slowly mature. You develop self-esteem, self-worth, confidence, character, personality, values, morals, boundaries, principles. You're going to be good to those around you. But when a narcissist grows up in a family devoid of love, when they are emotionally abused, they have parents that are rude to them, or they witness their parents argue or they're physically or verbally abusive to each other, this causes that child to shut down emotionally to where they're in survival mode, which means I'm not going to open myself up to anyone. I have no empathy for anyone. It's me. I have to protect and serve myself. And if they don't heal from that, they grow up to become narcissists, murderers, psychopaths, rapists, cheaters, self-serving individuals because of the domestic background they grew up in. And that's reality. So, let's carry on. We went through so much together, or so I thought, right? Including him being there when my dad died of cancer. Sorry to hear that. Then adding the sexting and me taking him back. Why move into my house with me, make a home, hold my hand with me when my dad died, work on things after you cheated, and then he moves in with this girl after 3 weeks? Well, it's because he didn't just meet that girl. It's because he had that girl lined up in the background until he was ready to cut you off and start a life with her. So he secured her in the background and then jumped over to you. Jumped over from you to her. She said, I've been doing my own thing, healing, going to therapy, taking care of my house solo, and just being pretty much alone with friends and family. This is a perfect example why Danny is a good woman. For all you crybaby MGTOWs that think all women are the same, listen to what she just said. Let me repeat that one more time. I have been healing, going to therapy, taking care of my house solo, and just being pretty much alone with friends and family. I could never imagine moving on like that after 4 years. Guys, what have I always told you? And here's proof. A good woman, when the relationship ends, she's not looking to line up a replacement. She takes the time to heal. She builds up a support group of her loved ones. She spends time by herself. She's not looking to hook up or find other men. And she doesn't line up a replacement. The same way you good men that have been betrayed or are unhappy, don't run off with another woman. You take your time to heal the same way. Okay? There you go. That's what good people do. That's what people with integrity and character do. They heal. They don't jump into another relationship. Because after being with someone for 4 years, in Danny's case, you're going to be no mental or headspace at all to run off with someone else. Okay? Let's carry on. Got my hair in the way. She said, I now understand why people get depressed and struggle after they've been rocked to their core like this. When you're everything, your best friend, a knight in shining armor, just moves on to someone like that. Well, this guy, in your case, Danny, he was never your knight in shining armor. He was never your best friend. He was a user, a manipulator, and a cheater. The reason why people get depressed is because they don't want to accept reality for what it is. You get fooled and played by the red flags. You stay longer than you should have. And it gets to the point where you end up getting your heart smashed. And the reality is, when you've been with someone for 4 years, your whole identity is going to be shaped around them. Spending time with them, texting them, calling them, being with them in person, doing things, going on adventures, being intimate. And then that's suddenly ripped away from you. It's like loss, it's like grievance, it's like your dog dying. You've had your dog for 10 years and he's died. Old age. Or in this case, she knows very well what I'm talking about, her father passed away. You're close to him. Or a mother. Or one of your close buddies dies. It's grieving. One moment they're there, next moment they're gone. So all you have left is those memories. And reality is not what you want it to be because you wanted them with you in your life. And now that they're gone, it's like this is a shock to your system. That's why so many people after a breakup, they run to addictions. They shouldn't. They try and rebound to escape the pain. They binge eat, or they don't eat at all. So they put on weight or lose weight. And emotions are going to be up and down, and that's all part of it. It's all part of healing. You've got to go through that, right? So that's just something you've got to accept. He made me feel horrible and confused while the breakup is happening. She said, I love sports, but apparently this girl hates sports. We used to go to hockey games, football games, go shooting. That's badass. Went on yearly trips together, travelled, had family and friends over all the time, and we even bought a boat together 6 months before the breakup. I'm still pretty shaken and confused by this. I also had zero closure, and he just told me, I can't be with you anymore, I'm not happy. But never said or told me why. Yeah, because The same reason why he hid himself in the bathroom for an hour and deleted all the messages. He's not going to tell you why, because he would have to tell you that, hey Danny, listen, I met this girl who, she's engaged, but guess what, I've been cheating on you, and she's been cheating on her man, and now we're together. He's not going to tell you that, because he knows it's wrong. You see, what narcissists do, it's premeditated. They know it's wrong, but they do it anyway. But they're not going to admit that to you. They don't want you to catch on. So, let's carry on. I'm still pretty shaken and confused by this. I had zero closure. And when I called him out about having a new girlfriend after 3 weeks, he basically told me to move on, leave me the F alone, get your own life, and don't ever contact me again. Someone's angry because you're catching on. And then block me on everything. Now, you only block someone when they don't stop harassing you, or when they're crossing lines and you're done with them. But in this case, she's asking rational questions. But it struck a nerve with him because he doesn't want to be found out for what he truly is. She said, I still think about it every day. I really don't think I'll ever be over this. I don't understand how this happens and how people can do this, especially with family, memories, and big history. It's super disheartening because I also feel like he stole 4 years of my life. And I could have been with someone who really loved me and wanted the future. I feel totally duped. Should have been a red flag after 2 years in our 30s and no engagement of ourselves. I'm 13-4 now and I'm still healing big time. I feel like I am kind of lost. All my friends are married now and having kids, and I'm healing while he created a new life with someone after 3 weeks. How long does it take to not even care or think about it? Is it normal to still be hurt and baffled? What are your thoughts on what's going on? Thank you for your time to read this. And again, your content is awesome and you really do help others, Danny. Well, guys, we already know what's been going on with this guy. Narcissist, messed up. Danny, you just got involved with the wrong guy. You were leading with your emotions, you were rushing because you wanted a family, and you kind of let things slide. And that's something you don't do. You've got to take it slow. You've got to observe the behavior, consistency, behavioral patterns. If it happens once, okay. But if it's consistent, if it happens again and again, this guy doesn't communicate, he takes no accountability, what does that tell you? No honesty. No maturity. He appeared to be mature because he was older than you, but clearly he's not. He's just a little boy trapped in a man's body. And in regards to healing, it's not linear. There's going to be very bad moments, days, weeks, months, even years to come, where you're going to be up and down. But as long as you have the awareness to realize that this wasn't your fault, this was his doing. You were a good woman to him and he took you for granted. He couldn't appreciate you. What does that tell you? Another thing would be is don't stalk him or that girl on social media. You want to cut that guy off completely, contact, even though he already blocked you, on any other outlet where he could reach out, just cut it off. You are not going to heal going back to what hurt you, right? And other than that, you're already doing everything you should be. You're healing with your friends, with your family, you've got a support system, you're taking care of your house, you take it day by day. Now you're more aware of the situation. Separate your guilt, because you shouldn't feel any guilt at all. Separate that from what is actually going on, because you did nothing wrong to this guy. You treated him very well, and he just didn't respect or appreciate you because he was unable to. It was nothing to do with you. No amount of you trying any harder would have changed the outcome. Okay? So she did send me a second email when I responded to her, and she wanted to give me a little bit more information about his background. And this is when you really get to see why he was a narcissist, right? And how it happened. So she said, I cannot thank you enough for reading this and also for your response. Gratitude isn't the word. She said, everything you said is spot on, even the hard shit. Like hearing you say, you didn't want me, I quit looking at social media, all very true. Truthfully, I always feared he was one foot in and one foot out the door. Deep down you always know. All very true. But still, I thought he was my forever. I sound ridiculous. He was so hot and cold, then mixed with the cheating. I should have known better and ran with the significant red flags. When the significant red flags surfaced. But with rose-colored glasses and manipulation, it took me for a ride. I remember right before my dad passed away, he got the same tattoo as him. It's like a family crest. And he wanted to surprise him. Myself, along with 10 other family members, have this to honour him. So to me, that was a sign that, wow, this guy really loves me and my family. So any red flag after that was kind of brushed under the table. So yeah, she's with this guy, he gets the same tattoo that her father has and she thinks he's serious about me, he ain't going anywhere. But hey, look, you can be with someone, they can have the same tattoo, you can have a mortgage, you can have kids, you can have 10 years together. That doesn't guarantee they're going to stay. What guarantees they stay is the emotional attraction, connection they have to you, their character, their integrity, shared values, compatibility. Okay, that's really what keeps someone there. As long as you are a feminine, submissive woman, that guy, and you make him feel like the man in the relationship, he won't go anywhere. And for us men, if you're masculine, strong, confident, you lead the relationship. You protect your woman, you make her feel heard and understood, respected, okay, loved, cherished. She won't go anywhere, right? She's a good woman, right? She said, those including the talking awful shit about me to his friends and to the other girl, seeing text to a friend of him saying, damn, that bartender was so hot, I wanted my shit, but too bad I can't do anything about it. And she said, and by the way, his friend was really not thrilled with his comments. Yeah, because his friend knows this guy's a piece of shit. Anyways, the tattoo, my dad passing away before any cheating, sexting that I knew of took place. These were all talks about getting a bigger house with me, but marriage and also money were always off the table. That is also one thing I did not mention, money. This is also one thing that he said he wasn't happy about, was that the house didn't feel like his. I bought the house before my dad died so he could see me hit a milestone. I've been working since I was 14 and I saved a nice amount of money for myself and for my future and also my future partners and kids. I let him do whatever he wanted here to me. It was our home. But I felt like he had resentment because I purchased it. So for all you guys that think all women are gold diggers, they're just there to take money from you, she invited him into his home, her home. It was her house that she bought with her hard-earned money. But he didn't feel like the man because he didn't pay for it. Guys, a good girl, she doesn't care about what money you have, she just wants you. There you go, more proof that Danny's a good woman. She just wanted his love and his attention and his respect and a family. She didn't care about the money. Only gold diggers and users care about that stuff. A woman with a genuine heart cares about your integrity, what man you actually are, the way you treat her. But him being emotionally unstable, being insecure, that's going to bother him. She purchased a house. You know, she's not selfish, she's very selfless, she's very giving and caring, and this guy's the total opposite. She said, I did offer over and over if he wanted to be put on the mortgage. She's being even more giving, even more caring. She said the stipulations would be giving me half the down payment or getting engaged. He said he would never ever want to be on the mortgage because of the money and he wanted to buy something together. So I said, okay, cool, whatever you like. So I never understood why this house made him miserable. Perhaps me having more money than him made him feel insecure. Bingo again, Danny the detective. I also remember a year into our relationship he kept leasing cars and would be over on mileage. He had to get something new and different every other year. So I offered him $30,000 to get a car he would like and he could pay me back. There you go. Guys, when a woman is genuine and she's with you for the right reasons, she's not going to even ask you, she's really not even going to ask you for money because she's going to have her own. Okay? And she's going to be giving. She's not going to be selfish. Not only did she buy her own house and offer him to be with her, she even offered to say, here's 30k so you can buy yourself a car. Look how honest, look how genuine she is. Look what a good heart she has. And you guys think all women are bad. Man, that has to change, guys. That mindset's got to go. She said, I thought this would be something great for our future since we're not throwing money away, it's an investment. I thought it was a sweet, nice gesture, but he was super mad and made a jab at me and said that I thought I was cool because I had more money than him. Do you see what I mean? He's a narcissist. He thinks everything's competition. He thinks everything you versus him. Everything's a personal attack when you're just doing something good and genuine, which is, hey, here's some money so you can buy yourself a car. He can't appreciate that. A damaged man can never appreciate a good woman. She said, and he would never take money from a girl. She said, I'm not rich, but I've worked since I was 14. She goes, I thought he would be appreciative and thankful that I could hold my own and we could be a team. As you can see, I'm still blaming myself in a way. Yeah. Also looking back, I also think I held on because his ruggedness, hands-on, manly man aura reminded me a lot about my father. My dad was my everything. And there were a lot of qualities in my ex that reminded me of him. Like a guy who isn't afraid to get their hands dirty, show me how to change my oil, fix a furnace, build a shed with me kind of guy, if that makes sense. Listen to what she just said about her father. My dad is my everything. What have I always said about a good woman? She will always come from a good family with a strong masculine father that she loves and respects. This is what you'll hear from a good quality woman. She will always say, my dad is my everything. And look at Danny. Faithful, integrity, loyal, good girl, giving, caring, nurturing, feminine, submissive. She was respectful to him. She was loving. She was a good communicator. She said, here's money to buy a car. I'll invite you into my home. See? Because she came from a good family. She got good values because she had a real father. She had a real strong masculine man in her life to give her direction and teach her how to be a good woman. Avoid women with daddy issues and look for a woman that has a good father in her life or has done the work on herself. She said, you also mentioned childhood trauma. You hit the nail on the head. He is an only child and his mother tricked his father into having a child that he didn't want. They are not your average family that says, I love you and gives hugs. So he grew up in a family devoid of love and affection. His dad always yelled at him and his mum, calling him stupid, always making fun of him for his profession and calling his mother a cunt, a bitch, fat, etc. Brutal. His parents also have not slept in the same bed in 20 years. Wow. His mother put him on a pedestal, her handsome son that could do nothing wrong, and all the girls loved him. So, narcissistic mother turns her son into a little monster because it doesn't teach him any accountability. There you go. What did I say earlier about narcissism and childhood trauma? Bingo. It's funny how it all plays out, doesn't it? While his father drank, sued everyone, and was screaming at his son, he never played ball with him and always bossed him around. Actually, my own father refused to be around his dad at one point. Yeah, because your father was a good man and he knew this guy's messed up. I was really sad at looking back, and I think I also used that as an excuse to take him back and try to be understanding of why my ex was so messed up. So her nurturing feminine energy comes out of wanting to nest with him, care for him, love him, because she's empathetic. She grew up in a good home. When you look at him, he grew up in a messed up home. The dad's drunk and abusive. He's a weak beta male who let himself get manipulated by a woman, and he got tricked into having a kid he didn't want, which is this guy. The mum is a narcissist who runs the show. So instead of the father being the leader and the man in the relationship, he is a little cuck and lets the mother lead. So the son grows up and he doesn't even know how to be a man. Her mum teaches him that he's a little prince and he does no harm, right? Her handsome son who could do no harm. Made me laugh. And the father is, because he's too much of a loser to leave that relationship, he stays, he settles in a 20-year sexless marriage, and he takes his anger out, insulting his son, insulting the mum, but yet he's still too weak to leave, and drinking himself to death. And Danny's father is like, I don't want anything to do with that guy. You see, what have I said, guys? When you meet a woman, you want to ask her, tell me about your family. Tell me about your upbringing. Tell me about your childhood. What's the relationship like that you have with your father and your mother? Who do you hang around? Because if they grew up in a screwed up home like that, they didn't recover or heal from it, you gotta run. So let's carry on. So she said he did show a little bit of remorse after the big cheating event, but only after I threatened to walk away 100%. Therefore, it's not a real remorse. You basically show him that when you're willing to really walk away and he's going to lose you, then he panics and says whatever he has to reel you back in, which is all he really did. Because if he was truly remorseful, he would never have cheated on you again. But obviously, once a cheater, you can say it with me if you want, guys. Always a cheater, right? That's reality. You can't change the way he is. She said, before that, he actually said he wanted to be with me, but wanted his own place. I told him 1000% no, that is taking a step back, and that if he wanted that, we were over. He didn't like the answer. But to be honest, during that point, it seemed like I was fighting more for us than he was. But once I said, get the rest of your stuff, that I was done, he came crawling, crying back to me, and it was the first time he ever broke down about his life, parents, and how he hated himself. Pretty much a true statement. He does hate himself. That's why he's hateful to everyone around him. Projection much. So that's when we got back together and he moved back in. Things were better than ever. Then obviously, as you know, all the same weird patterns started again. So guys, that's it. That's what happened to Danny. And as you guys can see, this is unfortunately what happens when you get involved with a narcissist. And finally, what I will say to Danny is you're very lucky that he didn't get you pregnant, because he would have left you. And then you'd be a single mum. And there'd be even less chance of you locking down a high quality man. But the good news is you're single, you've got no kids, and you still have a chance of finding someone out there once you heal and recover. But when you meet, next time you start dating, for you and for anybody watching who's gone through this, you want to take a step back and say, all right, let me become a detective. And even though I'm having fun getting to know them, let me ask quality questions about their upbringing, their childhood, and their background, their past. Because very few people heal from a damaged childhood or improve from the circumstances that they're in. Because most people are average. Very few people want to have a better life. Because most people settle, complacent. So if you want to find somebody amazing, you've got to make sure that they've done the work on themselves. And you can find that out by taking it slow. Okay? By looking at their behavior, the consistency. Okay? Do you have the same core values and belief system, the same outlook on life? What about chemistry? Okay, are they carrying any emotional baggage? Or is their conscience clear from their past? Have they healed? Are they ready to meet someone? Are they a good match for you? So yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And what I was looking at today was 94% of my viewers are men and 6% are women. But I wanted to do this video from a female subscriber to educate you guys and make you understand that even women go through this. And that there are good women out there, such as Danny, for example. There's good men and there's bad men. There's good women and there's bad women. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the video. Give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what you'd like to see next. If you would like to reach out to me to send me your situation or ask me any questions, or if you would like personal coaching, feel free to send me an email, which will be in the description, and you can also find it on the About tab on the YouTube channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.